まさか。
So every week for the last 10 weeks, I come on here, I come on camera, and one of the things I always really praise about Seventh Time Loop is the intrigue and the mystery and the tension that it continually builds up and kind of ends off with each and every week. It basically spends like the last 2 minutes of an episode kind of building up to something and then cutting away to the ED. At this point, it's pretty much the brand of Seventh Time Loop to kind of build that twist, that turn, and make you go like, what's gonna happen next? And honestly, on all 10 weeks, they've absolutely nailed every single tense moment. And every week I've come on here and I've been like, wow, like they build up the tension and the mystery, and like they've really nailed it this week. Well, in episode number 11, which is the one that we just got done watching here today, I think this might be the first failed week at that. And it's mostly because we kind of got left off on last week with generally in the same vicinity and ballpark of what we got left off on this week, right? Like, so, and again, this is just to me, but Rishe was working towards last week saving Coil, saving Kyle's, however you want to pronounce the name, but she was working on saving that. This week, she spent all this week seemingly in one scene. It seemed like she was experimenting or trying to reproduce gunmetal, or not gunmetal. That's not the word. Gunpowder. That's the word. It looks like she was trying to produce gunpowder, but those scenes may have actually been her sensei, whatever the researcher's name is, but her sensei. It might have been him actually producing that. It's hard to know for sure, at least for me, because during the scene of when she's kind of researching and she's, doing her documents and stuff, and Oliver, I think his name's Oliver, right? He came and he gave Rishe like a bunch of different materials and stuff. And then it kind of cut to her doing her research, and then it cut to another scene of gunpowder being produced. It's kind of hard to tell for sure. Like, was that Rishe? Was that the sensei? I'm assuming that she has a backup plan, and maybe she reproduced or produced gunpowder herself to kind of claim that as well too. But again, all these things are hinted at. We don't know for certain. But this episode kind of spends her time, trying to figure out a way to save Coils and trying to figure a way to, get back on Arnold's side and trying to figure out how she can convince him to, partner with this country, not hostile takeover, because she simply knows all the lives that will be lost by him taking that action. Although or albeit further along in the future, it's still one of those things that, she's still trying to wholeheartedly prevent. But these same expressions or these same anecdotes could be said for last week's episode too. And I think that's kind of the main thing is last week we got left off on, okay, what is Rishe going to do to save Coils? What is she going to do for her sensei? What is she going to do to stop the gunpowder being proposed to, to Prince Arnold? Like, what is she going to do about those things? And the other piece of it too is like, at what point did Arnold get gunpowder in the last loop? Did he? And at what point was that? And is this much earlier? And I still feel like I'm on the side of don't prevent him from getting gunpowder, navigate him on how to use it. Although, obviously having gunpowder is going to feverishly change the tides of war. Being the person who gets to control how that'll change the tide is much better than worrying about the other person. Because at this point, the sensei is trying to find somebody who would use it and, all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, it's much better to be the first person to have it than to be the person figuring out how to, fight against it kind of thing. So I'm still on that side of like, I still think that she should take the gunpowder, and I still think that, she should use her knowledge to navigate the way the war is going to turn out and stuff. But like, I don't know. I guess we're going to see what happens. The one scene that I really, really did love about this episode was the moments that she did share with Prince Arnold. And I love how she was like, if you cast me aside, I would be a maid and I would come here to find you. I would be an herbalist and come here to find you. I would be this and come here to find you. And I don't know how, because the way that the character is depicted, I don't quite know how Prince Arnold is internally reacting to those feelings. But I love how she basically said, I'll cherish your eyes. The things that you despise, I will cherish those things. Those will mean a lot to me. And I like how she was like, no matter what, outside of death, I will come and I will find you here. And I also love her reaction to where he's like, don't make me cast you aside or don't make me end you kind of thing. And she's like, I won't stop. If that's what you decide to do, it is what it is. But I have my own agenda and I'm going to do the things that I think is right. And she basically said like, I don't give a crap, dude. Like, kill me. You know what I mean? And for Prince Arnold, how do you deal with someone like that who is like, who you can look in their eyes and see that they're truly, and based on Rishe's experience of looping, it's like she's legitly like, kill me if that's what you feel. Like, how do you deal with someone who's it's like, yeah, go ahead, go for it. How do you deal with that? And I think that's part of her mystery and intrigue and everything else that captivates Arnold about her. But again, let's go back. There's a lot of moments. There's a lot of good stuff about episode 11. I love that the sensei duped her. I love that he lost him. I love that he knew he was being followed. I love how Prince Arnold looks like he had his own agenda and the way that he was kind of manipulating stuff. The soldiers came into the room once Rishe left with his brother. So he kind of knows things that are going on regardless. He kind of knows her machinations. He kind of knows the things that she's doing. And he has his own separate way to handle things. And he's about to handle things a certain way, which, Oliver or whatever his name is was really caught off guard by. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen there. So a lot of good happened this episode, don't get me wrong. I just think that the end where they've nailed it week after week, I just really didn't feel it this episode. And again, it's the first time I didn't feel that within, 10 weeks, 11 weeks. So, I mean, they've done a freaking amazing bang-up job of always building that tension, always building that last moment to end on. This is just the 1 week I was like, I didn't really feel that tension this week. I was like, I kind of see where this is going in a sense. So that's my only thing. But regardless, still awesome episode. Just that tense moment at the end where they typically nail it every week. They just didn't for me this week. But again, that's okay. All right, well, let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. I appreciate you guys being here another week. Hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. Hope you have an amazing week coming up or whenever you're watching. Hope you have a just fantastic day and fantastic week, month, year, all that good stuff. But yeah, this anime is awesome. I can't wait to see what happens next. Next week, we're going to have the last episode, so it's really going to be that big moment to see what ends up happening. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see beyond this point because we only have 12 episodes. So who knows if we'll ever see beyond this point of what happens next week, because this show may or may not ever get a season 2. So we might have to go and find the source material to see on what ends up happening next, which is unfortunate in itself. But for those who are familiar with source, let me know if it gets even juicier as we go forward, as I assume it does. So anyways, I'll see you guys next week, my friends. Peace.